Montenegro, one of the 6 republics that used to make up the Socialist Federation of Yugoslavia. Today it's an independent country, but if you know where to look, you can still find traces of Yugoslavia here, and that's what I'm searching for today. I'm starting here in Perast, an old Venetian town, and then I'll head back to where I'm staying in Kotor and hike up to the Kotor fortress where you get to see a whole view over the bay. Perast is beautiful. It's like going back in time. You can see here all of the Venetian style, Italian style architecture, because unlike the rest of Montenegro, Perast was never under Ottoman rule. It was actually under Venetian rule, when the Venetians and the Ottomans shared the Bay of Kotor. And it was around 300 or over 300 years that the Venetians controlled this part of the bay. And that's why you can see all of this Italian style Venetian architecture.
Blueberry.
Yeah, blueberry. Cool.
Homemade.
Homemade.
From Montenegro, Perast, tradizionale wine.
Cool.
Montenegro, Perast, tradizionale wine.
Alright, nice.
Very nice. Nice.
Nice, delicious.
Delicious.
It's really sweet.
Very, very nice. Tradizionale wine. Okay.
Voila. Thank you, boss. Ciao. Perast is cool, but it doesn't really scream Yugoslavia. That's because Montenegro's history is older than that. This place was built on trade and war long before Yugoslavia even existed. In the 18th century, Perast was one of the richest towns on the Adriatic. It had 4 shipyards and sent sailors all around the world. Even Peter the Great of Russia sent his navy officers here to train. During Yugoslavia, Perast didn't play a major industrial or military role like other coastal towns like Kotor or Bar, but it was still part of the Socialist Republic of Montenegro. In 1945, by the time Yugoslavia had formed, Perast was no longer a major maritime hub. It declined in the 19th century after losing its shipbuilding importance. One of the things it was used for during Yugoslav times, though, was tourism. Under Tito's rule, the Yugoslav government recognized Perast for its Venetian palaces and churches and preserved its architecture and promoted its Adriatic coastline that you can see right here. Perast benefited from this, just like it does today, and tourism is one of the main things that the people that live here rely on to live. Out there is the church and the Lady of the Rocks, which is what lots of tourists come here to see in the summer, and even now they get the boat tours, but you have to book one, and I didn't book one for today. I'm walking to the bus stop now to catch the bus back to Kotor, where I'm going to head up to the fortress, where you get a view over the whole bay, although it's cloudy because I'm not here in the summer. Okay, I'm back in Kotor. Let's see if I can make this happen. I got to get to the top of the fort, Vermak, and I've also got to get on top of Kotor Fortress before the sun sets in around 3 hours. There used to be an old hotel, which I'm going to show you now, called Hotel Fjord, which was an old Yugoslav era hotel where Yugoslavian tourists would have came on vacation to visit Kotor. Also, there's an electro, I don't know how to say it, like an electro hydro place, like a water mill down where I think it's called the North Gate in Kotor Old Town, Stari Grad. Here, look. Loads of buildings here just left to rot. Here I am in Kotor Bay. Here you have Kotor Old Town, and over there is another town connected to Kotor called Dobrota, I think. But have a look at these views. Even in the winter, the clouds running through the mountains. And up there, as you can see, that wall that scales all the way up to the top, that's the fort, and that's where I want to go. I'm pretty sure it was the Romans that built the first settlements here before the Venetians eventually took over. This is it. Right here stood Hotel Fjord, a grand Yugoslav era hotel built in the late 80s. It was meant to be a symbol of Kotor's future as a major tourist destination, but that future never fully arrived. Yugoslavia collapsed shortly after, and the war in the 90s left the area in turmoil. After Montenegro became independent, the hotel fell into disrepair, and it got sold and swapped between different investors and was left abandoned for years. And finally in 2018, it was demolished. A symbol of Yugoslavia's rise and fall. How many projects just like this never got finished. I'm here now at the main entrance of Kotor Old Town. It's called the Sea Gate. And you can see right here where the entrance is, inscripted there, it says Tude nesemo svoje ne damo, Tito, which means we do not want what is not ours, which was a famous slogan used by Josip Broz Tito during the Cold Wars, referring to the borders around Yugoslavia. We don't want what's not ours. And here, this date with the star, 1944, is the date, I'm sure, when Yugoslavian partisans liberated this town from Nazi occupation during World War II. So you can see how this gate has been put here, a Venetian built town marked by the Yugoslavians. Okay, this is the entrance to the hike that takes an hour long to the top of Kotor Fortress. Look at that doggo. And here's a little tap. So I'm going to drink some water from the tap of Kotor. Yeah, how do I turn it off? Let's go. Hydrated. Oh, cool. Oh look, there's a little, I didn't see that. Look, there's a little five-a-side pitch down there. I think it's this way. But yeah, imagine having to build a place like this. Venetians coming up here, fighting away invaders, full body armour, under cannon fire. I'm sweating just in a jumper. I think I've taken a wrong turn because this is starting to get, all the stairs are broken. Yeah, I've gone the wrong way. Oh, look at that. Someone living there. There's a good view of the ladder of Kotor. And down there is that abandoned building I was talking about. That's the other one. Looking over the bay. Don't do it justice on camera, it never does. The size of the mountains, the views, the bay. Here you go. The last obstacle like a paper thin metal bridge. Oh, you can see a police car here and then a police car here. They've blocked off the road like there's been an accident. Blocked off the whole road. Damn. Someone was drinking too much rakia. There we are. The Montenegro, the Crna Gora flag flying high. We've made it to the top of Kotor Fortress. Kotor has always been a city of walls. The first fortifications were built here by the Romans over 1500 years ago, and later the Venetians came and built what we see today, a fortress designed to keep invaders out. And there were plenty of invaders. The Ottomans, the French under Napoleon, and the Austro-Hungarians. They all wanted this place. Why? Because Kotor's natural geography made it easy to defend, and the mountains acted as a natural fortress. During Yugoslavia, Kotor was important in a different way. Tito built a naval base here in the 1950s, and the Yugoslav Navy used it as a strategic port and hid submarines and warships all along the coast. Even today, Montenegro's navy operates out of this bay, and this is why everyone wanted it. From up here, you can control the whole bay. Everyone that comes in and out. Heading back down. Taking it slow because it's dark now. And there we go. Last few steps. Oh, finally. There we go. Back to the fountain of Kotor. So it was about an hour going up there, and then to come back down it was like just under an hour. It's always quicker coming down than going up, innit? But yeah, that was Kotor Fortress. And that's the end of my day with my adventures. So I head back into the old town. Okay, so it's the next day, and it's around 11 o'clock right now, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make it to Fort Vermac. I've got a choice to make. I can spend the 2 or 3 hours getting up there and back down and getting the views, but then I'll have to take the 2-hour bus back to Podgorica, and I won't have enough daylight to show what I want to show in Podgorica. Because the video is about Yugoslavia, I think I want to go to Podgorica because that's where there's more Yugoslav stuff, I guess, like compared to out here on the coast. And yeah, I'm not going to be able to make it this time. But if you ever visit Kotor, you should go to Fort Vermac. You get massive views of the bay, and it's a really nice, like, historical site. It was built in the late 19th century by the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and they used it as like a thing to stop rebellions from the Montenegrins, basically, that were rebelling against the Austro-Hungarian Empire. And it got used in World War I. They used it as like a place to protect a naval base in Tavat and to stop attacks. And then eventually, when they surrendered in 1918, the fort became under control of the new empire of Serbs, Croats and Slovenes, which later became Yugoslavia. So it's a really historical site. It's I think it is the best preserved Austro-Hungarian fort in the Kotor Bay. So it's a shame I can't make it, but I think Podgorica is the way to go. I'm just out here outside the church, St. Typhon's Cathedral. Look, I'm gonna take a walk in there, and that's the last thing I'm gonna do in Kotor before heading to the bus station down the road and trying to catch a bus back to Podgorica, the soonest one I can get. Let me see if I can film in there and how much the entrance fee is. Yeah, loads of interesting relics here from Saint Tryphon. I think that's how you say it, which is the patron, who is the patron saint of Kotor, or has been the patron saint for Kotor for over 1,000 years. Yeah, and this church here, look, I'm on the upper level next to the bell towers, looking over the square where I was just walking and talking. The view. But yeah, the church was built in the 12th century in 1166, and it was built in a Romanesque style originally, but after surviving earthquakes in the 17th, I think the biggest one was in the 17th century, they adjusted the look and built like a barrack style bell towers on it. So that's what gives it its unique look. But it's one of the oldest buildings in Kotor and one of the most important and significant buildings in Kotor too. Yeah. And there we go. Plum raki. That's the best way to say goodbye in Montenegro. I don't want to spill it. Goodbye, Kotor. Živjeli. Here we go. Do viđenja, Kotor. Let's go. Okay, I made it to the bus station. This is how much it costs. €9.80 for a bus to Podgorica from Kotor. This is the bus. We're back in the capital of Montenegro, Podgorica. I just got to the bus station and booked a taxi to the first location where we're going to go. So right now we're in Block 5, one of the best examples of Yugoslav era urban planning in Podgorica. This neighborhood was built in the 1970s under Tito's rule, and basically it was designed to house the working class people of Podgorica. As you can see, it's heavily inspired by brutalism, and they're not supposed to be pretty, they're supposed to be efficient, so that every worker had a place to live. For some people, a building like that might seem cold and harsh, but for a lot of people, it was a symbol of movement, a socialist vision of society. Let's keep moving. That bridge that we just drove past, that's the Millennium Bridge. Heading to the next place. Gorica Park. That's where we're at now. Walking up to the Partisan Monument. That's where we're going next. The taxi could only drop me at the bottom, so I'm gonna have to take the walk. Okay, we're here. The Partisan Monument. This monument was built to honor the partisan fighters led by Josip Broz Tito to fight against Nazi Germany and fascist Italy. Tito wanted every city to have monuments like this to remind people of their shared struggle. Tito's leadership of the partisans played a key role in securing the liberation of the country from Axis occupation. The success of the partisans in Montenegro, including Podgorica, was crucial part of securing the victory of the Yugoslav resistance. This monument is not just a war memorial, but a tribute to the idea of a united Yugoslavia and the values of brotherhood and unity that Tito preached so much. Partizanu Borcu. It's an interesting piece of history, but like many monuments like this, around the ex-Yugoslavia. Lots of them are left not well looked after. Here we are. One last look. Partisans, 1941, 1945. Okay, interesting stuff. But I need to head back before the sun sets, because the next location is a hotel, a Yugoslav era hotel called Hotel Podgorica. And that's where I'm headed next. Here we are, Hotel Podgorica, the Yugoslav hotel built in 1967 by Svetlana Radovic, I think, a famous architect from Yugoslavia who built loads of stuff, or didn't build it, who designed loads of things. This was built from stones from the river that is behind this hotel that runs all the way through Podgorica. And it's like, it was built during a time when Yugoslavia wasn't aligned with the Soviet Union or the West. So they built it in their own little way, just to show that they could do things differently, do things their own way, you know? There we go. Just to think, you know, this is the place where the political elite would have met people from other countries, people from the government of Yugoslavia, would have made decisions, had meetings, and talked about the future of the country, talked about the future of Montenegro. I've been told not to film and to leave, but yeah, one of the most iconic buildings from the Yugoslav era, survived the NATO bombings in 1999. Places like that hotel were key to the socialist economy and also tourism. But let me get out of here before they think I'm a spy, a NATO spy. No, I'm joking. Okay, luckily I've got a light, but we've made it to one of the last standing Tito statues in the Balkans, the leader of Yugoslavia for 3 decades, nearly 3 decades. A controversial figure, seen by some as a liberator and seen by others as a dictator. The fact that this statue is still standing is rare, because lots of statues of Tito were removed during or after the breakup of Yugoslavia. But as you can see with the statue, what's undeniable is Tito's presence in the region's history, especially here in Montenegro, where partisans fiercely fought against the Axis powers in World War II. Okay, we've made it to our last stop, Independence Square, the heart of modern day Podgorica. This square was once known as Republic Square during the days of Yugoslavia, and many key events of Yugoslav identity and Montenegrin independence took place here. This is where people would gather to celebrate national holidays and political victories under Yugoslavia. And here it is. Not the biggest monument. Independence Square took on a new significance in 2006 when Montenegro voted for independence to break away from the state union with Serbia. This place marks the end of one era and the start of a new one, but still echoes of Yugoslavia all around, in the architecture, in the layout of the square, the town, and also the people, what they remember, what they're like. It's fascinating to stand here, you know, knowing that this place once marked unity within Yugoslavia, but now it marks independence for Montenegro as a sovereign state. Just shows how countries can evolve and change and shift over time. Some things remembered, some things erased. So as I end the video here in Independence Square, it's clear to see that Podgorica and Montenegro has been shaped by a complex history, just like the entire Balkans. but it continues to evolve as people remember the past but think about the future. From the Partisan Monument, Tito's statue, Kotor, Perast, all the places we've visited, this has been a glimpse into Montenegro's past, its history, its triumphs, its resilience. So thanks for joining me. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you later.